Hopefully I'm back. It said trying to reconnect. I'm thawing out my homemade salad dressing that gets a little firm in the fridge. So I'm so excited, like I said, to tune in again for another one, another doozy for all of you today. And thank you for all of your thoughts and comments and wishes on last week's topic and video. It was really powerful talking about travel and talking about how we use that as such an excuse. So if you haven't seen last week's, go check that out. I was away all of last week, so that was a really hot topic for me, even going away and not using that as an excuse to totally just throw all my goals and all my eating out the window. So let me show you. I'm home now. I've been home for 2 days. I'm going to show you what I'm prepping for lunch here if I can. I'm going to make a nice, amazing Buddha bowl. I've got some barbecue chicken that we made last night, some roasted yams, some wild rice, and some amazing vegetables, and some beets that I roasted that I still have to peel. And then I'm going to put some hard-boiled eggs on it too, and probably some nuts. I love Buddha bowls. I'm so excited that salad season is here. It's finally spring. So let's dive into it. Today, and it's funny, this is a big intuitive hit that I had this morning. As you know, for those of you who have been following along, week by week with these videos, is that I often pull inspiration for the topic that I want to share with you from my client calls or just from things that come up for me. And today, that happened this morning. I was really feeling into what do you need to hear today? What's the tough love that I can share with you today? And the title gives it away, but I really can't hit home enough. And I say this with so much deep love that you will never, ever, ever be perfect. And that sounds harsh, but hear me out, okay? Hear me out on this because this version of perfection that all of us seem to be caught up in searching for does not exist. So when I say that you will never be perfect, I mean that you are never going to reach that place that you believe perfection is, or that society poses perfectionism as, and be this perfect, shiny version that, never makes any mistakes or never does anything wrong. And I say this with so much love because I see firsthand every single one of my clients do such harmful damage to their mental health, their physical health, spending their whole lives striving for this version of perfection that does not exist. So right here, right now, I want to call you out. If you can resonate with this, and I'm going to share some examples because you may not notice how this is showing up in your life, but if you resonate with being a perfectionist or someone who struggles in even allowing yourself to fail or allowing yourself to do something incorrectly or not as someone else would have it be, then I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening close and tuning into this. So, this quest that we have for, and I say we because I see this with literally every single person that I talk to, this quest for society's version of perfectionism, right? Like do things a certain way, eat a certain way, never make any mistakes. You should look a certain way. I mean, heck, my hair is wet. I just went for a run. I got out of the shower. I threw it up in a bun. Like my hair's not perfect right now. It's soaking wet, but I have to jump in here and do this video. And the more we can remember and actually realize the truth of our worth and our value is not about becoming this perfect version, which does not exist, is the point and the purpose and the joy of life is actually leaning into growth and becoming a better version of ourselves every day. Not perfect, but just a better version, or someone with all of my clients. Now I'm losing connection. I should go to my office. I can't leave these. So this version that we're constantly trying to strive for and beating ourselves up every time we don't get there or we don't reach a goal or we don't do something like we think we should be doing it. And it's so dangerous because it's wreaking havoc on your joy, your happiness, your success, your willingness to try new things and make mistakes. And I mean, I just ask this to you right now, watching, whether you're watching live or later, how has striving to be perfect at everything helped you? How is that actually going for you? And if you're like anyone I talk to, it's actually causing more damage than it is good. Now, I really want to pose this to you so you can start to sit with this and start to see, okay, where can I start letting go of this need for perfectionism? Where can I start being a bit messy in life? Because really, being human is messy. We're always going to make mistakes. We're always going to mess things up. We're always going to, fail at goals. And that's part of life. That's part of being a human being. And the more that we can embrace that, the happier we'll be, the more free we can feel, the more excited we can be. Um, oh my goodness, a ladybug just flew onto my window. I don't know if I can show it to you. Probably not. She's hiding up in the thing. I don't know what that means. If anybody knows the symbology of a ladybug, let me know in the comments below. She's so beautiful. So beautiful. They often appear in my office on the inside, and I have no idea where they come from. It's beautiful. Must be some sort of sign that I'm on the right path for whoever's listening to this and sharing this message about perfectionism. Obviously, this is a bigger conversation, but I want you to start to recognize in your life where this is holding you back, right? Are you, paralyzed from moving forward in any direction and making a change in your health or trying something new or, testing out different foods, trying a new exercise, something? Are you holding yourself back because you're not being perfect at it or because you're afraid of failing at it? Right? And if the answer is yes, then you have some work to do here. And it's beautiful. It's an opportunity for you to start to shift out of this and to start to realize that the beauty of being human is failing, is growing, is being messy, is not doing everything perfect. And that this version, oh, there goes my eggs are boiling. This version of perfectionism that you're striving for doesn't actually exist. So you're wasting your energy and your life, striving for something that doesn't exist. And that is sad. That's really, really, a shame because you're worth more than that. And, you deserve more than that. So that's the message I want to share with you today. Just it really came to me this morning that there's some of you out there that need to hear this, that need to start peeling back the layers of perfectionism. And one way that you can do this, and obviously I want to leave you with some tangible pieces here. One thing that can be really helpful, I've seen with my clients and even with myself, is noticing where this came from. And for a lot of us, perfectionism is actually a mechanism or a coping mechanism that came from childhood where we're looking for validation and worth and acceptance from our parents or whoever was your caregiver growing up. These are basic human needs, and oftentimes what one will do, and I did this, and my husband did this, and a lot of people that I know have done this, right, or fell into this pattern where, okay, if I get perfect grades, if I'm perfect at sports, if I'm, a perfect child and I never speak up and I follow all the rules, then my mom will love me. Then I will be enough. Then I will be worthy. We put all these conditions on it and often can get really stuck in this trap, and it carries on through life. And we feel like there's a piece of us that is broken or unworthy or not enough if we don't do things perfectly. And this comes from childhood. So for some of us and a lot of us, that's really a root stem. And I invite you to start feeling into and diving into that for yourself and seeing if that's a place where this maybe resonates. Another place that this comes from, and it's probably a combination for all of us, is society, right? We get bombarded with messages about doing things perfect, or we get rewarded for getting straight A's, right? We constantly idolize being perfect as opposed to idolizing and celebrating the failures and the growth and these amazing pieces that are part of being human. So we start to put ourselves on this pedestal and continue our lives like that, only to be disappointed time and time and time again, because the nature of being human is that we aren't perfect. So it's this catch-22 and this vicious cycle we've caught ourselves in. So, I encourage you to really sit with and think about, okay, where did this come from for me, and how is this showing up in my life, and is it supporting me or not? And I'm willing to bet if you're watching this video right now, it is not supporting you, and it is really doing damage to your health, your happiness, your relationships, everything. So start taking baby steps. Okay. This is the action you can take from this. Obviously, reflecting on this, resonating. And I want to hear in the comments below if this is something that you really resonate with. And I know a lot of you do for a fact, because literally every one of my clients have talked about this perfectionism piece showing up, and kind of this black and white thinking. Well, if I can't eat perfectly all the time, then why bother? Right? It's like this total black and white way of seeing the world, which is what the diet industry has done to our brains. So, really starting to let go of this. And I encourage you to practice baby steps, right? If this is something that's terrifying for you, understand where it's coming from, really connect with this message, and then start practicing making mistakes. practicing not being perfect. Maybe you invite guests over and you don't clean your house. Oh my goodness, could you imagine? Maybe you don't color coordinate your clothes today, or maybe you don't do your hair, or maybe you try a new meal and you let it be messy and you let it not be perfect, or you try a new skill. Maybe you take up, knitting and you try it and you suck at it. Amazing. Do it. Maybe you try a new running route or an exercise regime and it just isn't your forte. Awesome. Do it. Practice, it's almost like we need to rebuild that muscle and connect and understand that our worth has nothing to do with our perfectionism in anything in our lives. Our worth comes from such a deeper place. And I mean, you're just worthy being here. I mean, that's a big conversation for another day. But your worth is not about how perfect you do something. And the more you can reflect on this and repeat this to yourself and even just practice, like I said, these baby steps, practice doing something imperfect, practice being messy, practice, you know, not not needing to always show up a certain way or be this perfect version of you as well. Practice being emotionally messy, right? In front of other people. When someone asks you, how are you doing today? Honestly answer, right? Oh, I'm having a really crappy day. I'm actually feeling really depressed today. I'm actually angry at the moment. Whatever's coming up for you. That's a great place to practice not being perfect as well. Or, hey, I wasn't on par with my eating last week, or I had a sugar binge last night. Great. What did I learn from it? How am I growing from it? Those are things to be celebrated because that's part of being human. So, I'm going to leave it at that. Obviously, this conversation around perfectionism is much bigger than just a quick 10-minute video, but I hope that this really inspires you to start doing some inner work on this and start planting those seeds for yourself in understanding where this is showing up, how this is harming your life, your goals, and your mindset around just being happy and being content with life. When I started shifting out of my need to be perfect, so much shifted for me. I would just let myself off the hook for things that don't go according to plan. And it's been the most freeing feeling in the world to just allow myself to live life and to be messy and to just show up as myself. And today being an example of that with the messy, the wet hair in the bun, right? So there you have it. Go out there and be imperfect, be human, and stop fooling yourself that there's some version out there of perfection that you need to strive for because you are never going to get there. It is an useless journey, a waste of your energy, a waste of your time, and a waste of your life, constantly striving to be some version of someone else who you've built up in your mind or society has helped you build up in your mind instead of just allowing yourself to be the perfect version of you. Okay, which is very different than the perfect version of me or your friends or your neighbors or your family. It's unique to you. So there you have it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'd love to hear what steps you're going to take to start dropping this need perfectionism and really start striving for progress. Okay, I love the saying progress over perfection and really starting to switch your beliefs about what being perfect is. Being perfect to me means really being my authentic self and growing and learning and messing up every single day. So see if you can come up with a new definition for yourself, a new belief for yourself, and start living life that way and just see how things unfold. All right. Thank you so much again for tuning in to another Tough Love Tuesday. I hope that one was really powerful and really helpful for you. And I want to hear from you in the comments below. I'm going to go have lunch now. I'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye, everyone.